Imagine this. You're following the plan. You've taken a step back, holding firm with no texts, no calls. You're playing it cool, focusing on yourself, and then it hits you. She's doing the exact same thing. The silence lingers day after day, and at first, it's subtle. Just a nagging thought in the back of your mind. Is this working? But as time goes on, those doubts creep in. Days turn into weeks, and the tension builds. You start questioning, is she thinking about me? Has she moved on? Is she testing me? Or does she even care? This is where most people crack. Silence feels unbearable, like a battle you're losing, without even knowing the rules. You might feel tempted to reach out, thinking that will help you regain control. But here's where you're wrong. Her no-contact strategy isn't passive, it's calculated. It's a deliberate move to shift the power dynamics in the relationship. The truth is, silence only has power if you let it control you. What if I told you that this silence isn't your enemy? In fact, it could be your greatest opportunity. Welcome to Stoic Pathways, where we turn challenges into chances for growth. Today we're diving into a topic that frustrates and confuses so many. What do you do when she's also doing no contact? This isn't about playing games or ignoring each other. No contact is an emotional and psychological battleground. But here's the key. It's not about winning or losing, it's about mastering yourself. The Stoics believed you have power over your mind, not outside events. When you realize this, you'll find strength in the silence. The key isn't worrying about what she's doing or why. It's about shifting your focus inward, controlling your own actions, mindset, and emotions. Here's a powerful truth. No contact isn't a test of who caves first. It's a test of who can stay grounded in their power. Dark psychology tells us that in any dynamic, the one who remains unpredictable, composed, and least reactive always has the upper hand. Her silence may feel like a challenge, but it's also her revealing her cards. And when you understand that, you'll realize that no contact isn't about her at all. It's about you reclaiming control over your emotions, your narrative, and your future. Before we dive deeper, let's make a commitment. Drop a comment below with the phrase, "I choose power over reaction." This is your declaration of strength. No longer is this about chasing anyone or being swept up in their frame of reference. It's about standing firm in your own power, no matter what happens. If you're ready to take this journey with me, hit that like button. Not only does it help the channel grow, but it signals that you're here to master your life, not let it control you. So, what happens when she's also doing no contact? And more importantly, what should you do? Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand the dynamics at play and know how to flip the script, reclaim your power, and use this situation to become the most unshakable, magnetic version of yourself. No contact is more than just a strategy. It's a philosophy. At its core, it's about detachment, self-control, and shifting the focus back to yourself. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think no contact is about creating space for the other person to miss them. It's not. It's about creating space for you to reclaim your power. Let's break this down. The ancient Stoics believed in apatheia, freedom from passion or disturbance. They taught that the only things you can truly control are your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Everything else, what others think, feel, or do, is beyond your control. When you internalize this truth, you realize something profound. No contact is a test, but it's your test. Why does silence feel so uncomfortable? Why does the absence of communication stir up anxiety? The answer lies in attachment. When you rely on someone else for validation, their actions or responses begin to control your emotional state. No contact forces you to confront this attachment and choose a new path. Detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop relying on someone else for your sense of worth or happiness. It means standing firm in your value, knowing it doesn't diminish just because someone isn't reaching out. This is the foundation of Stoic strength, remaining calm and composed no matter the chaos around you. From a psychological standpoint, no contact also shifts the power dynamics. It disrupts the patterns of expectation. If she's used to you always initiating contact, your silence speaks volumes. But here's the key. Your silence isn't meant to manipulate her, it's meant to free you. When was the last time you felt truly at peace in your own skin without needing someone else's validation? That's the real goal of no contact. It's not about winning her back. It's about rediscovering who you are when you're not tied to someone else's actions. Reflect for a moment. if you're resonating with this idea of reclaiming your power, drop a comment below with the phrase "silence is my strength." Let's remind ourselves that detachment is the ultimate form of self-respect. If this is hitting home, smash that like button to show you're ready to master your emotions and take control of your life. No contact isn't a punishment for her. It's a gift for you, a gift of clarity, strength, and self-mastery. It operates on more than just logic. It taps into something deeper, something primal. Dark psychology teaches us that humans respond to scarcity, unpredictability, and mystery. No contact embodies all three. When something is always available, we take it for granted. But when it disappears, when it becomes scarce, we begin to crave it. That's the principle of scarcity at work. Your silence creates a void, and suddenly, the attention, the validation, and the energy you once poured into her is gone. And here's the kicker. Most people don't realize how much they valued something until it's no longer there. But no contact is more than just scarcity. It's unpredictability. Humans are creatures of habit, and we seek comfort in patterns. If she's used to you always texting first, always initiating, your silence disrupts that pattern. It creates uncertainty, one of the most powerful emotional triggers. She'll start wondering, what's he thinking? Is he over me? Is he talking to someone else? And then, there's the element of mystery. The less you reveal, the more people want to know. When you stay silent, you make yourself a puzzle, one that invites curiosity. When you resist the urge to explain yourself or seek closure, you create an aura of intrigue. Dark psychology reveals that mystery is magnetic because it keeps the mind searching for answers. Silence is like a blank canvas. It forces the other person to fill in the gaps with their own thoughts and emotions. However, there's an important distinction. None of this works if your silence comes from desperation or anger. If you're anxiously staring at your phone, counting the days, and hoping she'll reach out first, you're missing the point. True power comes from detachment, from a place of inner strength, not from trying to manipulate or control the situation. So how do you harness this knowledge effectively? The key is to shift your focus away from her and back to yourself. Use this time to build your life, to grow into the most grounded, magnetic version of yourself. When your silence is rooted in confidence and self-respect, it exudes a completely different energy. Take a moment to reflect. Are you ready to step into this power? If so, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I am the master of my silence." This is your declaration that you own your worth. And if this perspective resonates with you, hit that like button to show your commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, no contact isn't about punishing her or making her miss you. It's about stepping back so you can rediscover your strength, focus, and value. Now, let's flip the script for a moment. Why might she be doing no contact with you? It's easy to assume she's indifferent or has moved on, but the truth is often more nuanced. Her silence might not mean what you think it does. First, she could be mirroring your behavior. This is a classic psychological response. If you've gone silent, she might see it as a challenge, a power play, or simply a sign that you need space. So, instead of breaking the silence, she mirrors it. This isn't necessarily about control. It could be a way of protecting herself. Second, she might be using no contact for her own reasons, perhaps reflecting on the relationship, taking time to heal, or testing her own boundaries. No contact isn't just something you're doing. It could be something she's doing for herself. If that's the case, it's less about you and more about her personal journey. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Her silence might also be a test. Dark psychology suggests that people often use no contact to gauge the other person's reaction. If she reaches out and you don't respond, it shifts the dynamic. If you reach out first, it shifts it again. She might be waiting to see if you'll break the silence, if you'll chase her, or if you'll stay grounded. Your response, or lack of it, reveals a lot about your emotional strength. Another possibility is that she's trying to regain control. If she felt like she was losing power in the relationship, maybe you were pulling away or she felt undervalued. No contact is her way of resetting the balance. It's her attempt to reclaim her sense of agency. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, she might be waiting to see what kind of person you become during this silence. This is crucial. During no contact, both people are forced to reflect on who they were in the relationship and who they are without it. If you've been growing, working on yourself, and becoming more grounded, That energy will be felt even from a distance. So, what do you do with this knowledge? You let her silence be hers. You don't overanalyze or try to control it. Instead, you use it as a reminder that her actions are beyond your control. What you can control is how you show up for yourself. Let me ask you, what kind of person are you becoming during this time? If you're ready to step into a version of yourself that commands respect and radiates confidence, drop a comment below with the phrase "I thrive in my silence." Let's affirm that we're not just surviving this moment, we're growing through it. If this resonates with you, don't forget to hit that like button to show your commitment to mastering your emotions and actions. Her no contact doesn't define you, it reveals you. And this is your chance to show yourself who you really are. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. When faced with her silence, most people make the critical mistake of chasing. They break the no contact rule, reach out with a text, or try to force a conversation just to ease their own anxiety. But here's the reality. The moment you chase, you surrender the narrative. Let me explain. When you chase, you're signaling that her silence has power over you. You're confirming that your emotions are tied to her actions, which shifts the dynamic completely. Instead of being in control of your own story, you become reactive, like a passenger in a car someone else is driving. But Stoicism teaches us that the only true control we have is control over the self. The second you hand that control over, you lose your footing. The Stoics had a saying, "He who is brave is free." Brave enough to sit with discomfort, brave enough to resist the impulse to react. When you chase, you're not being brave, you're being fearful. You're letting fear of loss, rejection, or the unknown dictate your actions. But when you stay grounded, you communicate something completely different. I am enough as I am. I don't need to force anything. Now, let's talk about what happens when you don't chase. When you stay calm, composed, and in control, you shift the focus back to yourself. You reclaim the narrative. Silence becomes your ally, not your enemy. It radiates confidence, strength, and mystery. Remember what we discussed earlier. Humans are drawn to scarcity and unpredictability. When you're silent and unshaken, you embody both. Here's the key. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate her into reaching out. It's about embodying a deeper truth. When you control the narrative, you're not trying to force a specific outcome. You're simply living in alignment with your values and principles, showing that you respect yourself enough to let things unfold naturally. Here's a hard truth you need to hear. Chasing doesn't bring you closer to the outcome you want. It actually delays it. Think about it. If she's also practicing no contact to reset the dynamic or test your emotional strength, breaking the silence too soon only reinforces her doubts. But if you hold firm, if you stay true to your path, you show that you're someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, and that energy is magnetic. Take a moment and ask yourself, are you ready to take control of the narrative? If you are, drop a comment below with the phrase "I control my story." This is a commitment to rising above the noise, not chasing validation. If this resonates with you, hit that like button to show your dedication to mastering your emotions and actions. Remember, true strength isn't about forcing your will on someone else. It's about standing firm in your own power. If no contact is a test, then emotional fortitude is the key to passing it. But how do you build that inner strength that keeps you grounded, no matter what she does or doesn't do? The answer lies in Stoicism, a philosophy designed to help you thrive amidst uncertainty and adversity. Let's begin with a core principle of Stoicism. Focus only on what you can control. You can't control her thoughts, actions, or emotions. You can't make her break the silence, miss you, or reach out, but you can control your response. That's where your true power lies. The stronger you become emotionally, the less her actions will affect you. One powerful Stoic tool for building emotional fortitude is negative visualization. The Stoics practice this technique to prepare themselves for life's challenges. Take a moment to imagine the worst-case scenario. What if she never reaches out again? What if this chapter is truly over? Sit with that thought. Not to scare yourself, but to neutralize its power. By facing the worst in your mind, you'll realize that even if it happens, you'll be okay. This mental exercise trains you to detach from outcomes and find peace in the present moment. Another tool is journaling. When the silence starts to weigh on you, instead of reaching for your phone, grab a notebook. Write down your thoughts, feelings, and fears. Journaling gives you clarity. It helps you process emotions and recognize patterns in your thinking. Over time, you'll notice that the urge to react fades as you gain more control over your inner world. Mindfulness is another key practice to anchor yourself during this time. The Stoics believed in being fully present, regardless of circumstances. When you catch yourself spiraling, wondering if she's thinking about you or whether you should reach out, pause. Take a deep breath, bring your focus back to the present moment, and remind yourself that the only thing that exists is now. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived yet. Perhaps the most transformative Stoic practice is amor fati, or loving your fate. This means embracing everything that happens to you, good or bad, as part of your journey. If she's also practicing no contact, don't resist it. Accept it. Trust that this experience is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more self-aware person. Here's a question for you. Are you willing to use this time to build your emotional fortitude? If you are, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I master my emotions." Let's remind ourselves that strength isn't something we're born with, it's something we cultivate. If this resonates with you, smash that like button to show your commitment to self-mastery. Remember, no contact isn't just about her, it's about who you become in the process. Build your emotional fortitude, and nothing, not her silence or anyone's actions, will ever shake you again. So, what should you do when she's also doing no contact? The answer isn't about reacting impulsively. It's about responding strategically. And responding strategically doesn't mean sending her a carefully crafted text or posting subtle messages on social media to grab her attention. It means aligning your actions with your values, growth, and goals. The first step in responding strategically is to resist the urge to break the silence. Your silence is a statement. It says, "I respect myself enough to give both of us space to reflect." Breaking that silence impulsively sends the opposite message, that her actions control you, and you're seeking validation. The moment you reach out from a place of fear or insecurity, you've lost the high ground. Next, focus on what you're projecting into the world, whether or not she's watching. Use this time to level up. Work on your physical health, your mindset, your career, your passions. This isn't about trying to make her jealous or provoke a reaction. It's about showing up for yourself. When you live a life that's purposeful and aligned with your values, that energy radiates outward. Another key aspect of responding strategically is timing. If and when the time comes to reconnect, let it happen naturally. If she reaches out first, don't rush to reply immediately. Take your time, stay calm. Remember your worth. Your response should come from a place of confidence, not desperation. If you're the one initiating contact after a long period of no contact, keep it simple. Avoid over-explaining or diving into deep emotions. Instead, approach it with curiosity and openness. A simple, casual message like, "Hey, I've been reflecting on something we talked about and would love to hear how you're doing," signals that you're thoughtful, composed, and still invested in meaningful communication without sounding needy or emotional. But here's the most important part. Whatever happens next, stay detached from the outcome. If she responds positively, great. If she doesn't, that's okay too. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our intentions, our actions, and our mindset. The outcome is not ours to dictate. This approach also leverages an important psychological principle, contrast. By staying calm, composed, and grounded, you create a stark contrast to the impulsive, anxious reactions that might come from others. And that contrast makes all the difference. You stand out from the majority because you don't react impulsively. Instead, your grounded energy becomes a source of intrigue, demonstrating strength, maturity, and emotional intelligence, qualities that are rare and magnetic. So, let me ask you, are you ready to approach this with strategy, not emotion? If you are, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I respond, I don't react." Let's affirm that our actions come from a place of power, not insecurity. And if you find this perspective empowering, hit that like button to show your commitment to mastering your approach. Remember, responding strategically isn't about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself, and that's where your greatest power lies. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. Stop viewing reconnection as the ultimate goal. Reconnection, if it happens, should be the byproduct of your personal growth, not the reason for it. This is where many people get it wrong. They use no contact as a tactic to win her back, but in doing so, they miss the deeper purpose: becoming someone who doesn't need to chase, force, or depend on external validation. Think about it. If your entire focus during no contact is on when or how she might return, you're not truly detaching. You're still tied to the outcome. Stoicism teaches us that our efforts should be rooted in virtue and self-mastery, not in trying to control others. True power lies in being content with whatever the outcome may be, knowing that you've acted with integrity and strength. This shift in perspective frees you from the mental prison of what if. What if she doesn't come back? What if she's moved on? These questions lose their power when you realize your value isn't determined by her actions. Instead of asking what if, start asking who am I becoming through this process. When you shift your focus inward, something incredible happens. You start to rebuild your sense of self, independent of the relationship. You begin to recognize your own worth, not as something she gives you, but as something you've always had. And here's the irony. It's often when you let go of the need for reconnection that it becomes most likely. Why? Because people are drawn to those who are whole, confident, and self-sufficient. Let's take it a step further. What if instead of waiting for her to return, you viewed this silence as a gift, a chance to reflect on what worked in the relationship, what didn't, and what you truly want moving forward, whether with her or someone else? This isn't about settling, it's about leveling up. The Stoics remind us that the obstacles we face are not barriers, they are the path. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Her silence, this period of no contact, isn't in your way. It's showing you the way to growth, strength, and clarity. So here's the question. Can you let go of the outcome and trust the process? If you're ready to embrace this mindset, drop a comment below with the phrase "I let go to grow." Let's affirm that our worth isn't tied to someone else's actions, but to the person we choose to become. And if this message resonates with you, hit that like button to show your commitment to living with intention and clarity. Reconnection is always a possibility, but it's not the goal. The goal is to become the strongest, most authentic version of yourself, and that's a gift no one can take from you. Now that you've shifted your perspective on reconnection, let's take it further. What if you use this period of no contact, not just to survive, but to transform? What if you turned what feels like a loss into a power move that redefines who you are? Here's the truth. Silence can feel like weakness, but when you approach it the right way, it becomes your greatest strength. Every day that you don't react, don't chase, and don't seek external validation, you're training yourself to be more resilient, more composed, and more magnetic. This is how you turn no contact into a power move, by focusing on who you're becoming, not on what you're losing. Start by mastering the art of unpredictability. Remember, people are drawn to what they can't fully understand or control. When you stop being the person she expects, the one who always reaches out, reacts, or seeks closure, you create an air of mystery. This doesn't mean playing games. It means evolving into someone so grounded, so confident, that you don't feel the need to explain or justify your silence. Next, embrace transformation. Use this time to focus on the areas of your life that might have been neglected during the relationship. Dive into your health, your hobbies, your career, and your friendships. Become someone who is constantly leveling up. When you invest in yourself, you not only build confidence, but you also send a powerful message. You're thriving, not just surviving. But here's where the real power lies. Detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. The Stoics believe that the less you depend on external circumstances for your happiness, the freer you become. When you detach from the need for her to validate you, you become untouchable. Your silence is no longer about waiting for her. It's about honoring yourself. Another key to turning this into a power move is to stay unpredictable. Post something new you're working on. Share a project, a win, or an adventure, not to get her attention, but because you're genuinely living your life. When your actions come from a place of authenticity, they naturally create intrigue. Finally, make sure your energy matches your transformation. When she does reach out, and trust me, the likelihood increases when you're thriving. Don't fall back into old patterns. Respond with composure, confidence, and curiosity. Let her see that you've changed, not to impress her, but because you chose to grow. Let me ask you, are you ready to turn this silence into your strongest move yet? If you are, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I turn silence into strength." Let's affirm that this isn't just a waiting game, it's a growth game. If this resonates with you, smash that like button to show your commitment to transforming your life. Remember, a power move isn't about forcing outcomes, it's about becoming someone so grounded, so confident, that nothing and no one can shake you. So, what happens if she's also doing no contact? The answer is simple. You let her. You let her silence be her choice, while you focus on making your silence your strength. This isn't about waiting for her to make a move or playing a game to get a reaction. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that doesn't need to chase, doesn't need validation, and doesn't break under pressure. The key takeaway here is this: no contact isn't a punishment for her. It's an opportunity for you. It's a chance to build emotional fortitude, reclaim your power, and embrace a life where your worth isn't tied to someone else's actions. Whether or not she reaches out, you'll walk away stronger, wiser, and more aligned with who you're meant to be. The Stoics remind us to live by virtue, not by the outcome. Whether this chapter ends in reconnection or closure, the real victory lies in how you handle yourself, your silence, your growth, your transformation. These are the things that define you, not whether she picks up the phone. Let me ask you one last time. Are you ready to rise above this moment and use it to grow? If you are, drop a comment below with the phrase, "I own my silence." Let's declare together that we're not here to wait or chase. We're here to thrive. Before you go, make sure to like this video if it gave you clarity and empowerment. Your support not only helps this community grow, but it also shows that you're committed to living with intention and strength. And don't forget to subscribe to Stoic Pathways for more insights on how to master yourself, navigate life's challenges, and turn adversity into opportunity. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Together, we're building a community rooted in wisdom, power, and resilience. Thank you for watching. Remember, your silence is your strength, and your power lies within. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, choose power over reaction.